Welcome to Kairos. My name is Andrea, and I teach here, and I attend Kairos regularly. And this week is Holy Week, as all of us know. And it's Holy Week. And I felt the Spirit, and I've seen the Spirit move, and I've seen the Spirit do things that I never thought that would ever happen. It all started, the church I attend regularly on Sundays hosted a foot washing on Wednesday. The pastor said he has been burdened by the Lord since Christmas, the holidays, to do that. And he said he's found every excuse he could, and then he's had like 5 or 6 men in the church come up to him and give him words about foot washing. And he knew that was the Lord confirming that he needed to do that. I am a recent convert into the Church of God. I was raised Baptist, so I've never been or seen or participated in any sort of foot washing, ever. One of these days I'll share my testimony about everything God's done in my life. But a few weeks ago at church, there was an altar call, and I felt led to go. And I felt the Lord. I stood there and I said, whatever it is, I need to surrender. I surrender. I'm a visual person, and one of the things since I've been in the Church of God and I've discovered this whole side of my spirituality is I have visions. And when I was standing there, it was almost like I could see the hands of the Holy Spirit inside of me pushing this weighty thing up to the surface that was in me that I couldn't speak, that I couldn't put words to. And when it came up, it opened a Pandora's box. And I was angry. And I was mad. I was angry at God. I was angry at myself. I was angry at my past. I was angry at everything. By the time I got home after that service, I walked into my house and I was venting and I was yelling. I was so mad. And for weeks, I've been in the position where I was either convulsing with fear, convulsing in pain, or so mad that if I had a sledgehammer, I would have torn down the walls of my house. I was so mad and so angry. I have a friend who is anointed by God and is a preacher and is in seminary. And he messaged me a few weeks and was like, hey, what's going on? And I just told him. And he prayed over me. He spent about an hour and a half praying over me in the Spirit. And when he did that, even though I had been set free from my chains and my shackles, and I'd been set free from that, I still had residue. I still had scars, and there's still a wall. And I could feel in my spirit, and I saw in my spirit when he was praying over me, the walls shaking back and forth. I felt a shaking deep inside of me. When I found out about the foot washing, I knew I needed to go. I didn't know why. I didn't know anything about it. I was a little apprehensive, but I knew I needed to be there. So I left work late because the devil did everything he could Wednesday to keep me from getting to that service. I even got to church late. I was like 2 minutes late. And we were praising. And then the foot washing started. Women on one side, men on the other. And a lady that goes to church with me, that was the church secretary at the Baptist church I was raised in, came up to me and said, do you want me to wash your feet? So I sat down. And I reluctantly put my feet in the basin and I let her wash my feet. Before before we did that, we read John 13, verses 4 through 17, about the foot washing when Jesus washed the disciples' feet. In that foot washing, I felt her hands so kind and so gentle. And one of the things Brian said is when you wash the person's feet, you're praying blessings over them. You're praying over them. And when I felt her take that water and massage it into my feet, I could hear what she was saying, and I heard her voice, but it was almost like in my mind, it was like it was God speaking that. It was Jesus speaking that to me. I'm never at a loss for words. I went back to my seat and I sat down, and I didn't know how I was different, but I knew I wasn't the same either. And I'm the kind of person in church, in the past, if somebody says you want to share something, I might share something even if it wasn't genuine, just because I felt led to, because I felt like I had to have something to say. I didn't say a word. I didn't raise my hands. I didn't do anything. I was sitting there not knowing what to say. But I knew I was different. It was like a baptism, only it was more intimate than that. It was so much more intimate to me than a baptism, because when you're baptized, you're put under the water. But this was somebody taking hands of love and touching me and imparting God's love into me.